and it is 6:00. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead and start.
No, I thought you were going to introduce me.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was what you said. But
Okay, I'll put
Hey,
the mic.
I can introduce myself.
Oh, we don't want you to do that. 5:58? All right. Good evening, and thank you for coming out to Greater Faith Tabernacle Ministries today. My name is Yvonne Nelson. There is not a group, but we're hoping to form one today. So again, I want to thank you all for coming and introduce to you and reintroduce to some our moderator tonight, Mr. Leon Griffin. And you might remember him from his 13 years as an anchor at Fox 13. So without further ado, it's all on you.
All right.
Good morning, sunshine, even though it is the evening. But I tell you, we really appreciate you being here. First thing I want to remind everyone, if you need to freshen up after your trip here, restrooms are to the left and clearly marked, if you just need to freshen up. But more than anything, we need to petition something. Yeah, we need to petition, as we have stepped into this wonderful facility, to ask Reverend Dr. Orlesta Johnson Sr. to come on up and see if we can get this started on, not just a good note, but on the good foot.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Leon. Good evening, everyone. And again, I appreciate you all coming and being a part of this wonderful, wonderful event. And I do believe there are some things today that's going to be a blessing to all of us. The Bible says in Proverbs 3 and 6, a very familiar passage that I think should be noted, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. That's vital.
Amen.
So, Father God, today as we approach your throne of grace on this wonderful afternoon, we are so thankful, God, for your gracious keeping, your loving kindness, and the mercy, and how, God, you blessed us, God, throughout the years. And now, God, we want to acknowledge you to be here today, to speak to and through us. Help us, God, to be able to understand. And then, God, comes some common dialogue regarding, God, the things in our communities. Father, I appreciate, God, the wonderful help that these individuals are bringing forth, the knowledge they're bringing, and how, God, we can help not just ourselves, but, God, our entire community. Be it black, white, whatever, God, we are here, God, to be a voice for you. And now, God, we ask that you will speak, and speak, and we'll hear and we'll obey. Do it for us. In my Savior's name, Jesus, amen.
Amen. Amen. Bless you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to Greater Faith Tabernacle Ministries, where Dr. Johnson and Prophetess Joanne Johnson preside. Now, we want you to know the doors of Greater Faith Tabernacle are always open, and you're encouraged to walk in any time and walk with Pastor Johnson, especially on Sundays at 8:30. Wednesdays, you can even check it out on Facebook at 9:58 a.m. Join Greater Faith Tabernacle Sundays at 8:30 for the Development Academy worship services at 9:58. In person or on Facebook, we're going to make it easy for you. Now, the opening ceremony of Camp at Say the Small Church House at the corner of Shelby Drive in Audubon was held Sunday, May 19th, 1991. This facility that we're sitting in today, Campus B, also known as the Greater Faith Tabernacle Institute of Success, is a place where the Bible comes alive. And it was built and opened in 2004. Now, while you're visiting today, you're cordially invited to go to the bookstore. Check out, you can order some of the fabulous books, CDs, tapes, greeting cards, miscellaneous gifts, and copies of Dr. Johnson's sermons. Prices ranging from $3 and up. And again, we want to welcome and thank Dr. Johnson for unselfishly opening your doors tonight to host this very important community-wide event. Now, thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your schedule to gather with God's people today. Now, some of you received a letter. Over 300 of them were mailed out. Many of you may have gotten an invitation through the email. Over 500 were sent out. Now, a lot of you were contacted by telephone, notified by this with 2 additional meetings happening this week, Thursday. Whatever method that got you here, thank God you made it enough to show up and show out tonight. Now, we're gathered here to openly and truthfully talk about many negative things, but some of the positive things that are happening in our community too. We need all of us to work together to change things for the better. Not just me, not just you, but for Shelby County and our community as a whole. The truth of the matter is that we should have traditionally worked together to accomplish our goals because there is strength in numbers. We can still have our individual organizations, but realize that doing so fragments our strength and limits the level of accomplishments that we can achieve. So here as we sit tonight, we have three initial topics of importance: blight, the condition of our streets, and local businesses. Now that's going to be the three main focuses. We must be better stewards of our community. Now we all complain, we all want a nice upgrade, sit-down restaurants, and when we do get one, we allow it to close because we let people carry on negative activities around them. We complain about family dollar stores not cleaning up outside rather than unorganized inside, but we still shop and spend money there. Why bother to complain if you're not willing to affect change? Now what good does complaining do? Unless you manufacture blood pressure pills, no good at all. Now, do you know that the women in the zip code of 38106 South Memphis have the absolute highest number of breast cancer diagnoses? Now, that was true of a 2012 study that found that black women in the Memphis metropolitan area died of breast cancer at a more than double the rate of white women. And they did this from 2005 to 2009. This disparity was the largest found among the 50 largest U.S. cities. Now, if you hadn't heard enough yet, a later study found out the disparity had dropped over time, but the breast cancer mortality rate was still 68.9% higher for black women. Simple reason to reduce that figure, you ask? Getting a mammogram. Not to mention self-examination, that's number one, too. According to December 18 article, Commercial Appeal, mammograms can detect breast cancer early, lead to early treatment, a key factor in reducing the mortality rate. Now, our diet determines our health. Stop encouraging the kids to eat the fast food, help them to return to the days of home-cooked meals, vegetables at home, and 3 times a day, as previously stated. We've been taken advantage of. We've not been treated fairly, not with our tax dollars. Do you really like to be mistreated? No, it's time we all woke up and said something about it. Now, in January 2019, a report in truthandaccounting.org reported that a new analysis of the latest available financial report found out Memphis has a taxpayer burden, what each of us owe in Shelby County, $6,600 based on Truth and Accounting's grading scale. That's a D grade. You ask, Memphis elected officials have made repeated financial decisions that have left the city with a debt burden of $1.3 billion that equates to $6,600 burden for every city taxpayer. We need $1.3 billion just to pay its bills. Now the amount is accumulated over time and the debt didn't happen yesterday overnight. These are financial problems that stem mostly from underfunded retirement obligations that have accumulated over many years. Now, for all the retirees in the audience, do you know that your elected officials have not funded the $523.1 million in pensions and the $962.2 million in retiree health care benefits? This amount represents $5.6 billion in promised retirement benefits. Furthermore, Memphis has a $1.8 billion available in assets to pay $3.1 billion worth of bills. And the city is hiding another $546.3 million of retiree health care debt from its balance sheet. Now just think about that for a minute. Not even doing true accounting to the accounting. Now we know this is supposedly a democratic society that we live in, but out of the 71,678 registered voters residing in 306, 38109, and 38116, 4,113 of them are ineligible to vote. Without even considering that fact, that our ancestors fought and died for the right to vote. We have registered individuals who still don't understand that, yes, your vote does make a difference, but only when you exercise that right to do so. If there's an agency in Memphis that can help any of these individuals to restore their voting rights, we can work amongst ourselves to locate and educate these inactive voters and accomplish this feat ourselves. Now, we need the entire community to turn out, show up and show out. Now, we're suggesting that you organize by establishing 4 committees that we want you to lend your expertise to be the most effective. You should have received 2 index cards upon coming in, signing in. Now, as you listen to the next 4 speakers, please use those index cards to write down your thoughts as they enter your head so you won't have any chance to forget it. Now, at the end of the presentations, we'll ask 3 things of you, assuming that everyone here is signed in. First, we ask you to turn in those index cards. End with your first and last name, suggestions, concerns, complaints. Second, would you please consider joining one committee or another? Now, one of the things that we need is vowing to give the remaining 744 hours of this month to support the committee of your choice. And the third we ask is that you make a $1 donation to help pay for the light bill of this lovely facility for allowing us to have this event here tonight. Now, the committees are going to focus on a citywide organizational name. That's the first thing. Number 2 is creating the Constitution and bylaws. Now, the third thing is citing and identifying blighted areas. Now, we all know where they are. Usually they're in our neighborhoods, and hopefully they're not our homes. And then we are also trying to start field operations or identifying the 10 major code violations and businesses that need attention and why. Now, you don't have to be on a committee to participate, but we do need people who will agree to work on these committees and be effective in attaining the raw data that we need to help make the changes that are necessary. Now, we'll be talking about those tonight. Just remember that you might want to report something that you haven't even talked about tonight. That's okay. We want to hear about those things. May not be able to change them, but at least you have to try. Face a problem. Would you agree? And again, we want to thank you for helping make Memphis the best place to work, live, play, and during this pilot program, it's our hope that you'll start a collective voice of concerned citizens. From this group, they'll be the active force in eliminating crime and taking back our community. Now, I just heard on the news this morning, Memphis has led the nation in yet another list. This time, it's being dirty. I mean, dirty, not just the politicians or anything else, but just being dirty. Again, it doesn't matter where you live as long as you live in Shelby County. While we start off small, it's our overall goal to grow out of Shelby County and create similar organizations and individuals who live all over America. Now, that we trust that you'll enjoy our speakers. For the sake of time, they'll not be answering your questions directly. That's why you really need to write them down. And again, we ask for you to write your concerns down and call them personally. Should you prefer to speak out, our meeting sergeant of arms may have to if you rudely interrupt the speaker, you could be escorted out of the facility. I don't think that's going to happen here tonight. No, we're all friends here. Now, our speakers have come to you in the order they're listed on the agenda. First, we'll meet Ms. Camille Potter. She's the city's new education coordinator. Our second speaker is a longtime employee, co-worker of Ms. Potter's, and we'll next welcome the manager of the city's code enforcement field operations, Mr. Otis Tidwell. Know that name. They may collaborate on their presentations. Following Mr. Tidwell, we'll hear from a local businessman, certified public accountant and consultant, Dr. Booker Camper. And our final speaker is Mr. Michael Williams. Everybody knows Mike. Yes, he's the president of the Memphis Police Association. Mr. Williams has been asked to close us out with the truth. The truth that Black Memphians need to hear in the 21st century. We need to hear the truth. We need to stop taking bribes. We need to get it together. We need to get it together now. In closing, I just want to say a special prayer for the person or people who started spreading rumors that this event was canceled tonight. We want to thank you again for attending on schedule as we initially planned. And please, if you would, make welcome our first speaker, Ms. Potter.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Camille Potter. I am the Education Engagement Coordinator for the Department of Neighborhood Improvement, which resides in Public Works for the City of Memphis. So thank you. I'm glad I have some familiar faces here, my Whitehaven group. I spent a lot of time in Whitehaven. I didn't grow up here, but I have family here, so this neighborhood definitely is important to me. So what I'm going to talk about is kind of our department and what it represents. So our department, again, is neighborhood improvement. We house code enforcement, we house ground services, Memphis City Beautiful, and a new department that is in the development stages called environmental enforcement. So we do address blight. First thing people think about neighborhood improvement is code enforcement, but it's so much more to our department than just code enforcement. Again, ground services, Memphis City Beautiful, environmental enforcement. We want to make sure that we're working with you and that you're working with us to kind of eradicate issues that you are having. Code enforcement speaks to a lot of issues that we have with residential complaints, commercial building complaints. All of this is built for the safety and welfare of our citizens in your community. So I know Whitehaven has some issues with blight, with structural damages, with properties not being taken care of, with sanitation issues, which is another division. So, but we are looking to really enforce and educate. Our three main points of the department are education, engagement, and enforcement. First thing we want to do is always to educate everyone on what violations or how to become in compliance with those violations for the city's housing code. So we want to give you a chance. That's how we educate you. Then we want to do engagement. We want to be active in the community. We want to come out. We want you to see us. We want you to acknowledge that we are out here working, and we want your community to be safe. We want it to be a healthy community. A safe community is a healthy community, of course. Also, we want to enforce. So, you know, if you're not acting right, you're not doing right the first time we educated you on something, then we're going to have to enforce that violation or that, or get you in compliance, right? Because we know some people just won't act. We know some people just won't do right, but we're working with you. So we need your help. Y'all can help?
Amen.
So we need your help, you know. It's enough to just call and do a complaint on a neighbor or something that you see, but to actually approach that situation, that's what we're here for. So we want to work with you. And just, we need you to know that things take time. You know, Whitehaven is a big area. The Ray 106 is a big area. The Ray 109 is a large area. You know, and we only have a few people out per area that are doing these inspections. So we need your help. But also, we need you to understand that we're actually here for you. So that's all I pretty much have. Oh, and to tell you about our new department called Environmental Enforcement. So a lot of people are familiar with code enforcement. We are having a new department called Environmental Enforcement, which is going to speak to mostly litter, illegal dumping, and I know you guys have a big issue with tires. Yes. All over the city, we have a big issue with tires. So now we're going to actively enforce that. And with that, they're actually putting up surveillance cameras in certain areas to catch these people who are illegally dumping, who are violating our code of ordinances and creating an unhealthy environment for us. Because not only is this unsightly, it's unhealthy. And it's unhealthy for our environment, creating pollution and all types of other things that we don't want contributing to blight. So we're going to be, hopefully have that up and running in the next few weeks, months, kind of depending. I'm not particularly sure on when that's going to be actually initiated, implemented, but we do want your help. I spent 3 years working at Memphis City Beautiful. It's an organization based to help beautify and enhance our city. That organization houses what we call a toolbox, a tool shed. So if you're looking to do a project, a cleanup, or a beautification project, you have resources, and they help you get volunteers through their organization. So oftentimes, people call and say, we want to do a cleanup on this date. And we say, what do you need? And they let us know everything we need at Memphis City Beautiful, and we get that done. But we can't do that if we don't know what the issues are in your community, especially for cleaning up. I was the education coordinator at Memphis City Beautiful for a couple years, and I worked with a lot of schools. I did a lot of work with schools, especially at Whitehaven Elementary and Jeter. But we know Jeter is under new management now, so I'm still working with them too. But getting the kids, getting the youth involved, because they don't understand the importance of a clean neighborhood unless you get to them early. You know, I've seen Whitehaven back in the 90s. I'm sure most of y'all been in Whitehaven before then. So I know what it used to look like, and I know what it has the potential to become again. So that's pretty much all I have for right now. Oh, my contact information, please, right there. So I'm in transition right now. I don't have a direct line, but I'm going to give you the main line to reach me. That number is 901-636-2136. I'll repeat it again. 901-636-2136. Email address. I didn't forget you. It's Camille, and that's CAMILLE.Potter, POTTER at Memphis, T is in Tom, N is in Nancy, .com. So Camille.Potter at Memphis, .gov, I'm sorry, G-O-V. Thank you, Ms. Tidwell. Keep me on point. G-O-V, I'm sorry. And if you're needing any additional information, please feel free to call. Please feel free to email me. If you're having an issue or something's not getting resolved, send it to me and I can get it over to the right department so we can get that taken care of for you.
Is this the time to ask questions?
Can I answer one question? Okay, yes, ma'am.
There used to be signs about littering. If you go litter out, that you would be fined so much money. Do you think that would help if those signs come back? Because I don't see any in the city at all.
The littering signs. Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Memphis City Beautiful is currently in the process of getting some signage developed for it to go around neighborhoods. When that is finalized, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a campaign to announce that signs will go up. But if you want to email me, so I have your contact information so that when it is available, I can let you know. They also have a program called Adopt a Trash Can that they're implementing, where people have adopted trash cans in certain neighborhoods. About 5, I think, is the limit for neighborhoods to have trash cans, like public trash cans. The only thing is that the neighborhood is responsible for emptying that trash can, and that just means taking that trash to your receptacle and having it disposed. Get me together tonight. Y'all get me together tonight. So, but yeah, signage is on the way. Yes, ma'am.
Why you gotta adopt the trash can?
So Adopt a Trash Can falls under a program called Adopt a Block. You may have seen Adopt a Park.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it's in line with that program, which is Memphis City Beautiful. They are getting, they got a grant to get so many trash cans and have those in certain neighborhoods. So they're going to be rolling that out pretty soon, but I can get you more information on that as well. Email me and I'll get you in touch with the executive director or the program coordinator for that particular program. My friend.
Yes, regarding the trash can, she said it'd be the neighborhood's responsibility to dispose of them. My question would be, is it the resident that has to go and get it? Because from my understanding, you know, the city picks up one garbage can and one for your, recycling.
Yeah.
So my question is, how would that be executed?
So in order for you to get trash cans, you would need community buy-in. So that neighborhood has to say, hey, we're dedicated to emptying this trash every week and putting it. So even if you have a rotation schedule, so I say, oh, well, I'll take the first week of the month, I'll bring that trash to my particular residence and empty it. Or you say, I'll take it to my residence, have it disposed of there. Because the city of Memphis only will collect trash cans from City of Memphis issued cans from the Division of Solid Waste.
So you're talking, I just want clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're talking about, like, people who don't pay, or they dump it out, and who don't pay for trash, and when I adopt that block, I become responsible for that trash.
Well, Adopt a Block is kind of the umbrella program. Adopt a Trash Can is kind of a separate.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, if I adopt a trash can, that's what that means, that I will be responsible for getting that trash off?
Yes.
And taking it to my house?
Yes.
And dispose of it?
Yes, but you want neighborhood. You want the neighborhood to buy in. That's a lot of work to do, to empty a trash can every week, and maybe twice a week, kind of depending on where it's actually placed. You may have a lot of foot traffic, or you may want that trash can placed where there is a lot of litter, or a lot of school kids. You know, they like to, you know, dump their little chip bag and candy wrapper.
All right, I want clarification.
Okay.
You're talking about having a trash can that anybody like on, in this corner.
Yes.
Okay, so a trash can there, and so anybody put their trash in there, then I become responsible for making sure that trash can gets.
Yes, it's a way to curtail litter. So we want them to put it in the trash can. We don't want it on the ground. We want them to have some place to put it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Got about 2 minutes left, Mr. Neal. Do you have anything on the new address program?
Address program?
Yeah, are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with the address program.
Something about house numbers need to be visible on every house, so just beware that that is coming out. Mr. Rowland, do you have anything on the flyer that was passed out Friday? Can you speak on that?
I don't really have a flyer with me.
No.
That was the issue at the Whitehaven Partnership.
Steve passed out those flyers, Mike, which one did you get?
About these trash cans. Because I have a house in 38109 as well.
Okay.
They have trash cans downtown and in Midtown that they put out there,
Yes.
and they empty them. So my question is, as taxpayers, why do we have to empty trash cans? How come they can't put trash cans out there and have some company or the sanitation department or somebody come and empty those trash cans? It's almost like, as taxpayers, they want to continue to put the burden on the citizens, especially if it ain't downtown, which is up, and Whitehaven, which is out. So, you know me, I'm just curious because I keep hearing it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I started seeing all of these beautiful trash cans downtown. I noticed that. And I was like, wow, they got trash cans all over the place. So people can put their trash in. But then when you come away from downtown, there's nothing. So, question. Go ahead. Oh, and the other thing is, his question was, okay, if you pick the trash up out of the receptacle and you take it back to your house, because that's what you're saying, a lot of times they won't pick the trash up if it's more than one receptacle.
That's what I'm talking about.
So it's like a catch-22.
Well, that's, again, I'm not over that program.
I'm just telling you.
I'm not over that particular program, so the parameters, I'm not too particularly sure of. But I can find out that information for you, Mr. Lee. But to address the first question, I'm not sure if the downtown commission is responsible for getting that
But
trash.
even with the downtown commission, we fund the downtown commission with our tax dollars, so come on, next.
I just been in the role a few weeks, Mr. Lee. Give me a chance to find out. But I hear what you're saying. I got you. But the Adopt a Trash Can is an opt-in program. You know, this is voluntary. This is something that people want to do to enhance their neighborhoods. Okay, I'm turning over to Ms. Tippett. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Otis Tidwell. I serve the citizens of Memphis in the capacity of the manager of code enforcement field operations. They have me down here listed as to talk about potholes. I want to let you know the truth because I am a man with cloth and that's my father, the minister over there, so I'm not going to tell a lie in his presence. I have no knowledge of potholes. Absolutely none. Except for my personal experience in ignorance. But there is a process as it relates to potholes, and that's that we ask if you encounter a pothole or you see a pothole, is to call 311 and turn that location in, because they do have a team that works diligently to address those potholes and refill them. I know that for a fact. Also, the city has began to work on state highways and federal highways, which they really don't have the obligation to do, but because they are a danger to our citizens, they are filling those potholes also. And in my personal experience, what I did, I reached back to my military days, and I called a friend of mine that lives in Grand Forks, North Dakota, because I know they have potholes and they have a special treatment because it gets cold up there. And I connected them with the city of Memphis to see if they would be able to use the same formula for the asphalt that they put in the potholes. Personally, I don't know if they made that connection or not, but I think it would be a good fit because it gets extremely cold up there. And they have way more potholes than we do.
Yes, sir.
So if they would copy that formula, it might help us down here.
Yeah.
And I do know also that the governor has been there about 3 times, maybe 4. And he has been personally asked for assistance with the citizens of Memphis to address the potholes here in Memphis. Is there any questions pertaining to code enforcement? Please write them down. But it was stated that we do have a new department in the environmental, and that department is being fabricated right now. I have a personal interest with Mr. Torian Harris, who will be the manager of that department. I'm showing him the ropes and how things are going here in Memphis. I worked hand in hand with him a few years ago to help in a homeless encampment that was under 385. They were down there up under 385 and they caught the grass on fire, whatever they had down there. And I helped him with cleaning that. Been working in a relationship with them all the time. So that is being worked on, and it's going to help us tremendously. It's going to help us out with the illegal dumping. It's going to help us out with those tractor trailer trucks that go down the street and they have trash blowing out, don't have that net over it. They're going to be able to stop those vehicles. They're going to have the legal authority to pull those vehicles over and cite them. As she stated, Ms. Parker stated about the illegal dumping, they're going to be able to address that. They're also going to be able to address homeowners that leave their garbage carts out on the curb. They're going to address those. They're going to also address property owners that rent property out, and when they have an eviction or whatsoever, they just take it and put it on the curb. They're going to be addressing those homeowners in situations like that. So we are moving forward. We are moving forward. And as I stated, I have no knowledge other than I'm out of $3,000 for hitting potholes. And if you dial 311 and you give that location, it will be addressed. It will be addressed. And I do hope that they research the formula that they're using, because we all know when we have a hard rain, that asphalt in there is going to eventually wash right back out. So I made that suggestion to the head manager in street maintenance. I also shared it with the mayor and the director of public works. To look at some other cities, especially those cities that are up north, because they use a different formula. I guarantee you they do. And if they can use that formula up there and it lasts longer than what we use down here, why not try it?
Who is responsible for the walls, the barriers on the expressways? They look horrible. They have green moss on them, weeds sticking out of them, and trash lining them. What department is that?
That's the Tennessee Department of Transportation. That's the figure.
Oh, that's Feds,
Yes,
because
sir.
it's expressway.
Code enforcement, right? My question is, who is responsible? You take like Elvis Presley, where you got, I see now different people are setting up selling on the street. Especially right there at the corner of Winchester and Elvis Presley, Elvis Presley and Sherry Dunn. Why do people have the right just to set up anywhere they want and sell and make the neighborhood look so bad? Who is responsible for that?
Well, they don't really have the right to do that. In order to do that, an individual must have a peddler's permit. Even sometimes the property owner may give a person the permission to come upon their property and set up, like as you stated. But also in giving that permission, that individual still has to go to county code and get a peddler's permit. One thing about it, from my experience and knowledge about that situation, is the human resources to check, because that happens all over the city. I'm not making an excuse, but that's the truth. That's the way it is. They do have to have a peddler's permit, and it's not something that the authorities just check on a regular basis. But if we call it in, then they will. County code, zoning,